nozzle yet. It's got enough threading on the back end, so the bottom out on the heat break on a mosquito nozzle yet. Yeah.
Does it heat to that at all?
Yeah, the first 9 inches are the 24 volt, 300 watt heater. The second 15 inches are cool down zone basically. It's air gapped by about paper thickness going back. But right now I'm running pasta on it. It's a
steel tack.
yeah, it's a stainless. I'm still trying to find a better source for the belt because the one steel I got, what I tested with, I've got a nice little 9-inch wide sheet of stainless spring steel, and it's got a great memory. You roll it up into a ball and throw it down on the table with a flock. I thought that's what I was ordering from China when I ordered these, and unfortunately, yeah, you roll these up and they only come back about 3/4 of the way back to size, and I'm already starting to see some rolling issues with it. So I'm still trying to find a more tempered stainless belt for it. And then it's 0.1 mil stainless belt, and I'm just using aluminum duct tape to hold the seam together, and then I'm offsetting the seam on the build tack about 1 foot, so I've got the build tack in that tape keeping it from pulling apart, and then I just diagonal cut the build tack so that it rolls nice and neat around the rollers without pulling off.
What's the largest item you've printed so far?
The sword I gave away at the last one, about 2 feet. I've done some, I printed a couple of these pieces. They were running like 400 millimeters. I've got one I ran out at 500. I've just been so busy doing last minute tweaks and everything, I haven't really pushed it yet. I'm gonna let him have fun with that. Okay. He's taking it with him when we leave here today, and I'm building the second one over the next month.
It's the IV.
Yeah. Hockey puck maker.
Set it up and just kind of print prints, and you change the print up in the middle of it, or is it like the same print, or do 20 of them, or do you put different prints in the middle?
I haven't found, I've been told there is a way you can set it where you can queue things where you can just drop a new part in and it continues to keep going. Right now, pretty much, the way I've used black belt Cura is you tell what object you want, and you lay out your build plate, and you say I want to do 10 copies of that. Like I made a file to print 5 coins. It'll run 5 and then it stops. You could, in theory,
rather than trying to release it as a product that you keep proprietary.
Main thing for me is I don't think I know everything about printers yet, and I know this can be made better. If I lock it down and I try to sell it, one, I'm just me. I'm going to kill myself trying to produce this. If I put it out there open source in public, everybody that is looking at it, like, dude, I want this, we'll build one. And then find all my mistakes, and that's the one thing I'm going to post on there. It's like, look, I no means do I think it's perfect. Everybody, please, if you find an improvement, make it as a remix of this, so I can try and incorporate all it into the design. And, you know, hey, here's a nice little tweak, or hey, I noticed this is just a little bit out of alignment. Good, I'll put the one that's the right alignment. I want the community to help me make this thing perfect and take. And something, I spent a long time on the phone with Pooch last night, and his belief, and I believe it too, is if we want to take 3D printing into production level, this is where is the biggest jump in that, because then you can say, okay, yeah, you know, the perfect example was for Christmas. They did the folding robots. A bunch of people printed them out for IC3D. Imagine if everybody would have had one of these. They could have said, okay, yeah, do 100 robots and walk away. You could sit there and just let it run and run and run. And we could have pumped out a lot more. Like I think Mike did how many?
I only did 36.
He only did 36. If he could, and they had like a month's notice. You could have put this thing on running 24/7. Probably could have done 300.
2 days.
Hey, Matt, Carl, Bill Steele did comment Polar 3D Cloud.
Okay.
And there is a plugin for Octoprint, Polar 3D plugin.
Okay.
So look at those two things for your multi-print setup and management.
Okay. I'll definitely have to look at that. writing that down.
Carl, I got a couple of questions for you. Number one, I applaud you doing it open source. It's awesome. Is this sort of a Core XY sort of thing, the way the developers?
It is. The original printer started as a D-bot, which was out there on Thingiverse. So that, I got the idea. I bought David Randolph's old 500 by 500 cube D-bot, and I originally was going to rebuild it as a 6-tool changer. And E3D is dragging their feet, releasing to the public the tool changer stuff. So I said, okay, well, I can't build that. I need to build something else. And got talking with Mike about he wanted something that could print the storage real big. I'm like, you need a belt on your storage. You can slice it long ways down, print 2 halves, and slap it together, and every sword can be 2 pieces. He's like, well, can you build it? Yeah, what did I get myself into?
So it's sort of a Core XY sort of.
Yeah, it's Core XY D-bot. You know, I
Core
made it
Theta.
work. It's, I mean, for what I'm saying, it's basically a rail core, so I put everything on linear rail. And I haven't been able to break it yet. I can make it to where it won't print real great if I go too fast, but I haven't broke it yet.
And is it PLA, the printed cards?
Yeah, everything on here is high 5 right now. Protopod's the high 5. I talked at length with Tinkers about it. He said for the way I got the design, he doesn't even, you know, I didn't even bother annealing the pieces. I'm pretty sure there's enough strength in it the way the design
You
is
have
made.
diagonal brace. So
Yeah, it's just to hold it stiff, and I mean, I've done it. I won't do it now because the aluminum plates. Before I put aluminum plates, I can grab it right here and lift the whole thing off the table. But that's 15 pounds of aluminum. I really don't want to risk it.
Carl, Bill said it looks awesome.
Thank you, Bill.
Does it print multiple colors? Is that more than one Bowden tube?
No, this is all the wiring for the hot end,
Okay.
just one Bowden tube. I said the hope is eventually I can make it a tool changer, or I'm hoping to actually get my palette set up at Murph and have it do, I'm probably just going to have it doing like random color changes though and pumping something out, but just to run it that way. I'm curious to see how well, I think random color won't be an issue because it's just going to randomly pick. I get the feeling trying to do actual controlled color changes.
That'd be tough.
I get the feeling I'm going to have to get on, at some point I'm going to have to talk to palette because I get the feeling the purge block's going to become an issue for me.
Yeah.
Because
Purge bucket
you're-
block.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to either do purge bucket over here, or I'm gonna have to start the purge block 50 millimeters before the print to get big enough to where it can do a big enough swipe to do its purge. Because you're always touching the first layer. I mean, first layer of it is always just one single horizontal line across the build plate. So that's not enough to purge anything. So I'm gonna have to build a block so we can move around and purge, but we can start printing the piece.
Just bucket. Oh yeah, just print up. Use plastic too.
Carl, Bill brought up 3D Chameleon. He said he can get you 8 colors on there.
Interesting.
You'll lose a little bit of Z height on it, but that's about it with that.
Make this
Y height on this one.
Yeah,
There's no Z height. Y height.
you're right.
Which is why Marlon thought I had the broken printer, because he's like, why you want the baby step Y?
Yeah.
Height is Y, not Z.
Chris made a good point. If you went with something like a chameleon on the top of that to do filament swap, just make the Y axis higher
Yeah.
to accommodate for that.
But as it is, I measured it once with the tape measure. I'm roughly 430. I need to measure, make sure I'm right, but I haven't printed anything that tall yet. Yeah, he wants to print a big cylinder just coming up the center, see what it'll do.
All the tests are good.
No fun, that's a great issue.
That's, I think.
You're all
right.
Go for it.
It's like, I don't know what happened. It's broken off.
I
Set
want to
on
see when you
fire.
have those, rollers that are on stage.
I haven't
Yeah,
set,
that's gonna be
that's
awesome.
what else we forgot to do.
I got rolls. The joke is to make it go through 2 of my rooms, so I'm gonna have it in and out the window. And get a little video clip of it sticking
Yes.
out the window.
So this you do phase mode and link.
Yes.
Ooh, cool.
So the I don't I forgot to bring this here. This one here is double layer, no infill, but I did a test one just to see how strong it would be with pointed nozzle. It just had too much flex. But I printed one of these peelers, Vase mode. The problem is because I have screw holes in it, doesn't do real well filling that back edge on Vase mode.
Yeah.
So
Well, until the 45-degree angle formed a complete
Yeah.
circle, it wouldn't be phase mode. But once you got to that full circle, then you can just keep phasing it.
yeah.
Because this would be fantastic for doing exotic, custom molding. Imagine doing your molding in your house in polyalchemy night sky.
Paint.
Yeah.
There you go. Paint-free molding.
He's probably already imagined it. It's so polyalchemy.
Oh,
Just to say the vertical and the y-axis, because are you able to do like a y-hop instead of a z-hop when you're moving from piece to piece?
You can. I have done a little bit with it. I'm still getting it fine-tuned on the settings and everything. I'm still writing it off from a belt back here. I need to play and dialing it in a little bit better for what it's doing. But I've done a few pauses and resumes, and it's picked right back up where it was at. Then I'm working.
Besides sourcing the belt, is there any other question marks you have that like?
I said the belt, and it'd be nice to find someone that can, like, it'd be nice to find a nozzle that will work without me having to custom make a nozzle. I'm gonna talk with I'm gonna look at Microsoft when I get out of Murph and look at one of theirs and just see if it's gonna work or not. I didn't, right now I'm dumping everything I can into doing this. I didn't want to spend $30 on a lady.
They're not as sharp as that.
They're a lot flatter. I want to put one on and just bring it down and see what it looks like. They might work, but I'm hoping, honestly, I get this out there, everybody sees it. I'm hoping I get some of these manufacturers walking away. Look, all you need to do is cut one like this. I'm really hoping I can get E3D to take jump at it and do something other than their standard shape nozzle and do nozzle X coated nozzles and different shapes.
I wonder if you could do a Prometheus not, if they're, I haven't heard a lot about Prometheus in a while, but assuming that they're still active, do a Prometheus nozzle, just cut down shorter.
There's, I think it's UK based. Somebody was taking and making a nozzle out of airbrush tips. Long, skinny, sticks out quite a ways. They moved the heater down. They actually, instead of using a block, they're wrapping a heater around it to heat just the. It's almost like a syringe sticking out. That might be an option.
100 baht Ubis hot ends have 2 flat sides. Both sides.
Two flat sides. Okay, when I started off with E3D nozzles, I was able to run, and by the way, the clamp design for holding the nozzle it'll run, if you put the E3D adapter on a mosquito, it'll hold the E3D or the V6 or the mosquito hot end on there. I started off just testing with the E3D. I was like, I got the rude wake up when I switched over to the mosquito because it's got that set heat break height. You have to have 6.5 to 7 millimeters of threading on the back side of the nozzle so it will bottom out on the heat break on a mosquito. I have talked with Dan a lot trying to get them to do a different style heat break that'll give you the ability to run MK8 nozzle or something like that on it.
Look for some knockoff volcano nozzles.
You could do that. The trick is trimming it down and getting it perfectly. The threads down. That's the reason why most companies, when they do it, they cut the threads and they do that flush end same time so that you're sure it's going to bottom out perfectly flush on the heat break. If you don't get it in the middle, I thought about doing that with a volcano, just trying to cut it down. I'm like, you don't get that dead on square, you're going to end up with a gap and then you're going to get ooze everywhere.
Hey Carl, did you say what your BOM cost is?
Right now, for just all parts and everything, I'm still under 2K. I got to throw numbers and add it up again. I think the last time I looked at my sheet, and it wasn't including all the money I spent on protopasta printing this, I was sitting at $1768, I think it was.
Does that include the duet and
yes.
the panel do and all that stuff?
The duet, the panel do, the mosquito hot end, the BMG extruder, all E3D steppers or LDO steppers, and they're the 0.9 with the exception of the one driving the belt, which is a 1.85 to 1 geared.
Have you looked at Kapton for the belt?
I haven't, no. I didn't like the look of it, no offense, but the printer belt and all the other ones I've seen on the internet, they're using some kind of cap on tape, and I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way it seemed to be holding. I wanted to come up with something different, and unfortunately, this is doing the same thing. Curl on hit because it's not the good hardened spring steel like I had.
The thing that industrially you would use titanium, and you can get that from Russia at reasonable prices. I bought a thing of metal, and I bought a titanium belt for it. It wasn't that expensive, but it made a big difference.
Bill says Titanium spring steel is the best testing he had.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, the definite thing I see everybody that tries to make is they don't, yeah, like you say, on spring steel. If you don't back it on something, it just curls and waves and goes all crazy.
He's never replaced the belt that he's used.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Balance. That belt is awesome. But not even good.
PT,
You gotta have that belt.
PT3D just said, I love your belt.
Thank you. Yeah, it didn't take as much arm twisting with Kayla as I thought it would.
Come on, that thing's awesome. Why would they?
That is.
Oh, I get to be on that awesome thing?
Well, the hardest part was, I'll admit, and Kayla, I'm sorry if you end up watching this, but I hit her up at Maker Faire, said I wanted to use Build Tech to make a belt trim. Her response was four companies, and she wouldn't say who tried to do it, and all of them said it wouldn't work. And I said, well, they're not me. And then the fact that she said 4 companies said they couldn't do it made me want to do it that much more. And I said, but I need it 2 meters long. And she goes, we can't go 2 meters long. The biggest I can go is a meter. I said, can you double check on that? She said, well, let me talk to my development guys. Next thing I know, she's like, all right, the guys say it is possible to go 2 meters long. But we usually, you know, I got all the, we usually do a minimum order of this and that. What do you want to use it for? And I explained the whole thing to her again. Let me see your logo. Once she saw the logo, that was it. She's like, okay, we'll do it for you.
I just want to take a second, because this is like you being here now doing this from where you started working with us is insane.
You need a $100 Da Vinci printer?
Yeah, was it 2 years ago or was it longer than that?
Almost, it'll be 3 this December.
Okay, so it was like shortly after we opened the showroom. So I had maybe 5 years ago, I bought a Da Vinci XYZ just as a, because I'll do that sometimes. I'll buy printers that I don't think are very good that a lot of people have, just for the sake of testing materials. And so I had my Da Vinci XYZ that was on the shelf. I couldn't bear to sell because I knew whoever bought it was going to be dissatisfied with it. And you know, Karl comes today looking interested, and it kind of felt like a tire kicker. I'm like, I don't think this guy's going to hold me back, but it seems like he got the chops to handle this Da Vinci. So for $100 I gave him this Da Vinci, and he just, man, you know.
I'm blown away. It's
Went down the rabbit hole.
yeah. The rabbit hole.
And anybody see my YouTube channel, it's like, yeah, any subscribers, I'm sorry I haven't continued on. This kind of took all my time. I need to get back to finishing my upgrade series on the Da Vinci, but it's like, yeah, I started off with his Da Vinci, and I'm like, okay, yes, Kim, I think I made it, 30 days before I went, okay. I came in there, I was like, yeah, okay, I flashed it with Repetier, I need an E3 DV6, and I need a Titan extruder.
You're the guy who would come into the shop and buy all the things that I say nobody ever uses these, they don't work, and then use them on your print.
Karl, I think your channel, I think you should sidestep the XYZ stuff and start showing this off a bit.
I don't want to leave everybody hanging. I need to do, I think I got like 5 more episodes and the Da Vinci will be done and
Yeah.
put back together. And then when I assemble the second one for him, I'm going to have the cameras rolling and try and film as much as I can. And the next series will be, okay, yeah, assembling your White Knight belt printer.
Yep,
So
definitely. How long, I don't remember if you said from start to finish, when did you start developing this?
we actually looked it up last night because Pooch asked me that. I had to pull up the very first file I downloaded for starting this, which was the STL for a 2040 extrusion. And I started this November 11th of last year.
Wow.
And here, for everybody, sit down that's watching, it's all designed in Microsoft 3D Builder.
I think probably Karl heard too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I need to learn Fusion, I won't lie, but I wanted to get it built, and the learning curve would take more time than I wanted to waste learning to use Fusion.
Steep learning curve.
The one thing I really love about this is that you literally took the hard way on everything.
Yes.
And it's still a hell of a build.
is.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the way to look at this.
I
You use
look-
the worst tools across the board to make the best print possible.
sound like a compliment?
Yeah.
It's like a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's very well done. I mean, I'm very impressed.
I was like, someone asked me, because someone noticed I went to dual plate, so said, did you take that from black belt? I said, I honestly don't know. I said, I think I spent 5 minutes looking at pictures of the black belt. I spent about maybe 10 minutes staring at the printer belt at Earth, and said, okay, I need to go 45 degrees, he's gotta have a belt. And I thought to myself, I said, I need 2 plates because you don't want the hot zone going the whole length of the thing. You want to give it time to cool down so it will release from the belt when it gets to the end. Well, that means I gotta have 2 plates. And then I decided I want to be able to flow thick material, and it looked like Mosquito had the best compact way to do that. And that's how and I knew I was going to feed long Bowden because I hate cable chains, and I don't want to go direct drive because I want to be able to run tool changer. So it's got to be designed where it's not direct drive. I'm like, well, that meant BMG extruder because they say those things will drag the printer off the table. So I challenge it to drag this thing off the table. This thing ain't going nowhere.
Carl, you got a compliment on cable management, and I will answer that question and say, yes, he does have OCD.
Carl Gussner asked on YouTube what the biggest challenge was with the entire build.
Biggest challenge with the entire build? Assembling the belt.
Assembly.
It's a scary, very scary thought, thinking you're going to take a belt that's, that tall, full 2 meters in height. How are you going to adhere that and not get any bubbles in it? I hadn't even heard of rapid tack, so I'm going, how am I going to put this on dry and get it lined up square on the belt? I was going to spool it around the top here and have my daughter advancing like 10 millimeters at a time and squeegeeing it the whole way, hoping I got it started straight to begin with. And then Kayla's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, just spray it down with rapid tack. And then I thought, but gravity's going to pull it back off when I run it around. It was a 4-day build to do the belt. I did the first 2 feet, lined it up, wrapped it around, made sure it was as square as I could get it. Let it set for 24 hours. Advance it 2 more feet, adhere it down with rapid tack, advance it 2 more feet, and then the last day was cut the seam and adhere just the last 100 millimeters of each side dry so it was on there nice and tight. But figuring out how to put it on and getting it on straight was kind of nerve biting for a while. So I'm like, I don't want to ruin this sheet. I have 1 spare. I don't want to have to use it. I'd rather hang it up behind the boot.
Does the belt want to move right or left as it's going along?
That's still a little bit of a challenge, getting it to track perfectly straight. I told Mike that if it were me, I would run a print and I would run the belt backwards again, just to try and keep it in the same spot. I mean, it's not real hard. I mean, you got the adjustment screws at each end. All 4 corners can be tweaked. Eventually, you probably get it lined up right. Just keep playing with it a little bit at a time. But if it gets out of alignment, crank it back, the screws off, shift it back straight, crank the screws back down, and tension it.
Lock them in. Where you said it's going to be open source. Do you know yet where you're going to be uploading files and everything? Thingiverse.
I've already started it, so I've got the item ID. I'm going to have business cards with the QRD code and all the links and everything at my stand for anybody that wants to go out and start downloading and starting theirs.
So far, no plans yet, though, as far as people. I know you answered this already, but it's a question on the stream. No plans to actually produce these yet.
Not as a company, no. I'm sure I'm going to have people that are going to go, well, you've already built 2. I'll give you this much money, build another one. I'm like, and I'll take it on a case-by-case basis. If I get to the point where all my free time is spent on doing it, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. But the goal is open source and everybody else do it. And they hit me with messages on how did you do this. And I'm going to try and publish as much as I can, detail how to do it and what you need to buy. But I really don't, at the moment, I don't see me making a business and pumping these out the door.
Suggestion in the room to lay the rollers to keep the belt straight.
This was the real quick. I wanted to make it to where, everything on here right now, with the exception of the Luna plates, was pretty much done in-house. We did have someone custom mill these, though. I've created a template you could lay out, trace it, and you could take a skill saw and cut the pattern on here. You could put it on without the little gaps, but you could hand cut the plates and drill the holes and do this without having to take it to a professional to water jet it or CNC it. And the same with the rollers, was it's literally, there's the two end caps and the centerpiece, and it's all just pressed fit together. A little bit of JB weld to make sure it doesn't move, and collet rings to keep it centered. If you've got a lathe at home, yeah, you can put it on a lathe, and I'm probably going to do that on the second one with his, but I wanted to do one where it's, all I did was take some sandpaper and smooth it out as best I could, and that was it. You could put it in a drill and run it and run sandpaper up and down it.
For people watching the streams, where can they follow you and follow the progress with the printer?
On Twitter and YouTube, Knack 3D Designs.
Same on Thingiverse too. Your Knack 3D
And
Designs.
on Thingiverse, yeah, all
Yep.
Knack 3D Designs. Anybody goes out there, it's not up yet. You can't see it. It's not published. It will go live on Friday. Murph begins.
And everybody will get their chance to see it at Murph if you're going to Murph.
Tom Jackson wants it.
Yeah, I got quite a few of those comments as well.
I'm running a tally, so we got this.
Yeah. If I go with the they wanted category, yeah, I'd be making these for the next 10 years of my life, probably. I'd have to start a business with solid producing, because I don't have the room in my basement. He knows.
Blade Speed said you're a trader. You only ever use polyalchemy.
Sorry, alchemist, but no, polyalchemy would not have held up to the stresses that I would have. I really would have done it in polyalchemy if it had strong enough layer adhesion to hold up to what I thought this was going to take. I just couldn't risk it.
Did you heat treat the?
I did not.
Okay.
I got a treadmill at home that we just hooked the front of that onto it. 'Cause I didn't use my treadmill.
My best friend suggested that. He said, just buy a treadmill and wire, and then I was like, no. I couldn't bring myself to try that.
So I don't want to like call it screaming questions in particular, but
Yep.
I do want to give Paul. We've got another very interesting printer to go here. So we will continue to do one-on-one after Dave and I don't have any other plans. You guys can.
Keep an eye on the channel. I'm going to switch over to another stream for Paul's printer. He has a how many heads is it, Paul? 5. 5 head tool changer that's set up like a microscope. So I'm going to switch streams and start a separate one.
Switch over to Paul.